Hey, everybody, and welcome to another action-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. We're your hosts, TJ and Dave, and today we're going to be reviewing Raw. Might have a little extra special thing for you at the end of the episode. We'll see, but we got our social medias that we'd like you to check out. They're the same as always, OverMark ENT. It's the same on everything, so just check us out. If you want to just listen to us on your car rides on Spotify, it's an option. If you want to look at the videos, because we're we got the pictures up of whatever we got, check those out. Beyond that, you know how to check us out, and if you don't, you just learned. We're going to dive right into it. So we got Raw on a 5/5/25. That's a lot of fives. They had an attendance, I'm all messed up today, of 11,350 at the Jey Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. 393 away from a sellout. They've been selling out a lot lately. I wouldn't be surprised if they just got people to come in and fill out the seats, because I didn't really see any empty seats there, but they're making a lot of money.
Look pretty full.
Yeah. They are making a lot of money. So anyways, we're going to jump right into this first segment here. It was a pretty good one. Jey Uso came out, and, you know, he does his entrance, and I'd say it's probably, well, actually before the entrance, you know, they did a little package and everything on what happened last week, the main event scene, and what happened here with Logan Paul and Jey Uso, and a little bit of the stuff with Rollins, and, you know, just what happened last week. And it jumped into Jey coming out, and, you know, he did his entrance. He's super over. He's doing the yeeting. He picks out the little kid, gets in the ring. Well, actually, but first, before he gets in the ring, he does a little slap with the guys, the announcers. Then he hops up in the ring, and they want him to do the encore, which I like the encore this time because they didn't last too long. He just gave him an extra yeet and didn't feel like, you know, it overstayed its welcome, right?
Right. It's like get it in, get it out type of thing, as opposed to the extended one that we got the last time.
Yeah. You don't want to, I don't know the right way to put it. It's not like
too much of a good
burnout.
thing can be a bad thing. Yeah.
It
like we love ice cream, but if I sit here and eat a half a gallon of ice cream, I might not be too stoked on it afterwards.
Or you can have some other problems too, I think. It's not just
I'm middle-aged, so yeah, I'm going to be doing bad if I eat that much ice cream.
I eat those Ben and Jerry's pretty good. When I get them, I got to stay away from those. But, you know, get back to it. You know, he led the crowd in the yeet chant, and Pat McAfee, you know, was on the announce table with him, like we said, one more time. And then he hypes out the city, calling out Logan Paul. And he was trying to stand on business. And right then, Paul Heyman comes out. And it's like, at this point, you're like, oh, man, things are heating up because, you know, right away, Seth Rollins is trying to go for that World Heavyweight Championship, right? Which is what you know it was going to be, but you figure it'd be down the road. You know, since they have Logan Paul and everything, I guess that's going to be a very short feud, you think?
Yeah, probably. I think that's kind of like a filler thing, and the whole Seth Rollins deal is going to be kind of the overarching story.
Yeah.
I imagine they'll have a match at Backlash, him and Logan Paul. And it'll probably be good.
Well, I mean, it's this week, right? So
yeah, it's Saturday. Yeah, which we'll have a review for on Sunday when we do the review for SmackDown and Collision. So you guys can look forward to that. Speaking of, you guys might notice that we're here giving you this episode on Tuesday instead of doing all of them at once on a Sunday or Saturday like we had been doing, in an effort to try to get everything out faster to everybody in a more timely and relevant fashion. But anyway, circling back, sorry, I way sidetracked us there.
Yeah, well, you're all good. Can happen as much as you want. But Paul Heyman came out and interrupted him before Logan Paul can respond. And Heyman claims that he's not there to disrespect Uso, but speak face to face. Uso reminded Heyman that he warned Roman Reigns and CM Punk about him, and Heyman deflects, blaming CM Punk for the fallout with Reigns. This was some good shit. Like, Paul Heyman, like, you know, he was just saying, like, I'm not wrong in this one. I am not wrong. You know, like, he was like, he wasn't having it. And, you know, from a certain point of view, I mean, he's not wrong, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the great thing about the storytelling that they're doing right now is, you know,
Shades of Grey.
you can, there is no clear cut. Like, obviously they're the heels, but there's a touch of gray, like you said. It's not just black and white.
No, but it was awesome, man. Like, Heyman claims that he built Reigns into the tribal chief, which to some extent he did. He blasted Reigns for disappearing after WrestleMania 40, lost to Cody Rhodes. Claimed Reigns left him vulnerable to Solo, Fatu, and the Tongans, who nearly ended his career. Says Reigns was only interested in reclaiming the Ulafala, not avenging Heyman, which, I mean, pretty true.
It did kind of seem like that, yeah.
He did come out.
He didn't.
I think a couple times,
He didn't come back
right?
when Heyman.
Didn't he do it once?
There wasn't. I think he came back like once or twice, but that was just to kind of scrap with the other bloodline. He came out and like 1v4'd them and whipped all of their asses one of the times, and then they beat him down all the times after that.
But yeah, Heyman flipped out, yelling "screw you" to Uso in the crowd, and his delivery's amazing. He's the man. He's the best at doing this shit. He's one of the only managers that they have, if not the only one. They have LAs, right? Still a couple of them, like the one for Otis or whatever, I forget her name, but overall,
oh man, I forgot it too. It's a crime that wrestling still doesn't get nominated for Emmys.
Yeah,
because
it's never gonna happen.
The storytelling that they've been doing for the last few, and not that all of it is Emmy worthy, but the stuff that's good is really good and probably could be award winning if they would actually nominate them.
Yeah, but then Heyman challenged Uso on Rollins' behalf. Heyman calms down and says he came to just talk about Jey Uso. Because, before that, Jey was saying that, what does this have to do with me? He's like, oh, you're right. It doesn't have anything. But I wanted to talk about you, and that has to do about you, right? And he claimed Uso doesn't understand what being a champion really means. Power and control. Reveals that this is all part of a larger plan. Braun Breaker was stage 1, taking the title stage 2, and Seth Rollins is officially challenging for the World Heavyweight title. Heyman allows Uso to choose the time and place for the match. Which, they're essentially trying to trick him, right? And then Jey Uso responded. He checks if he heard Heyman right. Anytime, anyplace, anywhere. Uso hypes the crowd up and says it's on tonight. Ends a segment with 4 letters, 1 word, or however he says it. But
he says it like this.
4 letters, 1 word,
yeah, that's him. But Heyman was left stunned, and which was, good shit.
Yeah.
And sorry, and then we jumped into the backstage segment after it. We'll just kind of like clamp this in there too. And then Paul Heyman entered the locker room with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, and Heyman mocks Jey Uso for falling into their trap. Rollins smugly says, "I told you so," and walks off confidently. Heyman explained the larger picture to Breaker. He was asking, like, do you really understand what's happening here? And then, like, he explained it to him and broke it down. He said Rollins was laser focused heading into WrestleMania. He defeated both Roman Reigns and CM Punk while they were focused on Rollins, and they still couldn't beat him, right? And then meanwhile, Jey Uso's been distracted by Logan Paul. He's not focused on Seth Rollins, so how's he going to beat him if both those guys were focused and on him and couldn't? So Heyman calls Rollins a sniper, and Uso's now in the crosshairs. And then Braun was like shaking his head, and you could tell it sunk in, and says once the title's handed to Rollins, they'll hold the keys to the kingdom. Breaker was like grinning, clearly eager for what's coming. And this is good stuff because like they're teaching him. He's obviously learning, so that they're going to create a monster here. I think that's what this whole thing's leading to. Like, this whole thing is big. They're going to create this. So right now, he's like kind of more of a meathead, inexperienced guy, but like this is what's going to turn him into like that smart type, like top level guy. It's fucking good shit that they're doing, man. Like long-term storytelling.
They started off this episode of Raw so good. After the last bit that wasn't so great, this was really good. Obviously the Raw after WrestleMania was really good, but yeah, just everything about this was good from the start until the part we got to where we're at now. Heyman can talk his ass off. I did find it odd how tan that him and Breaker are, and we did see the joke tweet from Kevin Owens, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have it up in front of me, but he was like, asking Seth Rollins when he was going to get spray tans to match Heyman and Breaker, and then there was a picture of the three of them together, and he's pretty white compared to Heyman and Breaker. It looks, and Heyman and Breaker are like the exact same color, so it definitely looks like they went to the same spray tan place.
Yeah, it was funny. You could see when they were doing the backstage segment, the tan just rolling down his head.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what it looked like to me, unless I was looking at it wrong. But I mean, it looked like Paul has a spray tan on or some shit, and it looks like it was rolling down his head. I mean, it happens to all these guys these days. You know, MJF's real bad for it. I mean, it's happened to him multiple times lately. But we'll jump into the next one. It was the match announcement. Confirmed for the first time in 7 months, the World Heavyweight Champion will be defended on WWE Raw. Pretty cool little stat. They don't do it all the time, right? So when they do, it's a big deal.
Yeah. Makes it feel more special when they actually have it instead of just a throwaway title eliminator match 2 times in 1 week.
Yeah, but they used to do it all the time back in the day. But like, you know, with the people involved, there's no way that it wouldn't have been a big deal. But it's good shit.
Yeah.
Pretty cool that, you know, they set the stage at the beginning. Awesome segment, and then you know that you're going to have an awesome segment at the end. So it's like, even if you don't want to see all the shit in between, you had a good segment at the beginning, and you know you're going to have something good at the end, right?
Yeah, they bookended the show, which is a very smart technique.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And then we went into the first match. You want to talk to us a little bit about that, Dave?
Yeah, we got Penta and JD McDonough this week.
His first match back
this evening,
pretty sure.
Right? He's looking in pretty good shape. I don't know what's going on with him. He obviously the time off did well for him. He hit in the gym a little harder. His head looked a little smaller. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that was just an optical illusion.
The same size to me.
I mean, it looked big, but I'm just saying, like, maybe because he was in better shape, his head don't look as big. I don't know. But when Penta was coming out, they advertised that there's a revamped version of his song that he's coming out to now for his entrance music that Adam Jones from Tool helped work on and do the guitar on. And Tool is my favorite band of all time, so that's pretty cool little deal there. And it sounded cool. I'll have to hear the full version of it once it gets on Spotify.
That's a Triple H thing, I bet.
Oh yeah, and Adam Jones has been a fan of wrestling forever, so it's a pretty cool thing for him, I imagine too.
All those bands from that time, of that genre.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, we get into we're going into the match. JD comes out and he's accompanied by Finn Balor and Carlito, and they get the match started. And Penta starts off with his Cero Miedo taunt, and they get an early chain wrestling exchanges.
Well, I like how he kicked him there too. He didn't just let him do it because everybody else just lets him do it.
Right. That was a good thing that I actually had forgotten about, and I literally just rewatched the show before we did this.
Well, it stood out to me because nobody did that in AEW all those years, and it's just like, I hate that fucking little signature thing he does. It's stupid.
I don't hate it, but I could see where some people might like it, and maybe it's a little overdone. But McDonough gets early control in the match with a headlock takeover and a standing moonsault. It was a pretty nice looking moonsault. His stuff is crisp, even if you don't like him and you're like you don't like him because he's a heel or you just genuinely don't like him for whatever reason. The dude knows what he's doing. Obviously he's working in WWE. A lot of these guys know what their shit is. But anyway, Penta fights back and builds some momentum with kicks and chops and gets a 2 count after some leg strikes. These the chops that the people that trained in Mexico do are just nasty. They sound like they hurt a little bit more than like a Ric Flair chop.
Well, they all wear gloves too, right?
Yeah, most of them. So you get that real loud smack sound.
Yep.
McDonough hits him with a running elbow. Penta stuns him in the face with a kick and a top rope chop. More of those chops, man. He's just beating his chest up. And then some key moments in the match here is Finn Balor distracts Penta, allowing McDonough to hit him with a Death Valley driver on the apron. Looked pretty devastating. I'm a big fan of the Death Valley driver move. I I first learned of it. I'm sidetracking us again, but Perry Saturn used to do that back in the day in like ECW, and that was just that was the first guy that I ever saw doing that. So I always thought that was a cool move.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure, and they know how to film it very well in WWE these days.
Then it goes into a commercial, and we come back, and McDonough is in control during the break. And he hits a Spanish fly for a near fall. And then we come back live, and McDonough crashes into the post, crotch first, after missing a basement drop kick. This didn't look that great. It kind of was like a slow motion. Not that I'm saying the guy should missile himself crotch first at the post, but it's pretty slow motion. That kind of looked like shit. Penta hits a handstand drop kick. The thing that he does in the corner where he stands up on his head on the top of the rope and then kicks the guy while they're down in the corner. Pretty awesome move. Gets him with a reverse sling blade, a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and some multiple near falls. I don't know. So far, I thought this match was kind of, I don't want to use the term mid because it was better than mid, but if we were grading it on like an ABC scale, it's probably like a B- or something so far.
Just a match.
Yeah. And then, we get to the finishing sequence, and Balor distracts the referee. Carlito grabs Penta's mask to try to pull on it and pull it off, and Penta hits him with a kick to get him away. He crossbodies on top of the floor, or off of the ropes on top of McDonough and Carlito at a nice little spot. They did a good job catching him. It looked good and also was safe. Balor throws Penta, but the referee catches him and throws the Judgment Day out of there. It was about time. Sometimes you watch some of these matches and there's so much interference that you would think that the referee has some kind of slowness upstairs or something. It's good
not like
to have that
back in
kind
the
of
day.
interference. Right. You have to make it kind of believable so that you don't make a complete moron of your referee, and sometimes they don't do a good job of that. But then we got some surprise interference, and Chad Gable grabs Penta up on the leg while he was on the top rope, and he hits a tope out onto Gable. And man, if this was AEW, we would have saw like 30 topes already. But that was the only one of the night, so it makes it feel more special because it's not just getting spammed like it's a move in a video game. And then McDonough attempts a moonsault and misses. Penta hits him with a Mexican destroyer that looked awesome for the win. It's nice to see a destroyer, just like the tope, not spammed, and when used tastefully, looks like a devastating finishing move.
Wow.
What did you think of this match?
It was okay. I mean,
yeah,
about it. It was a match that happened on Raw. It's but both guys look good and everything, and nothing egregious here. Just it was a match.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. I wasn't insulted watching it as a fan.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to describe it. Why don't you walk us into the next match?
Well, Austin Theory versus Sheamus. I guess I don't know how long he's been gone, but he popped back up and he's looking as white as ever.
I think since the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, same entrance, same music. Grayson Waller seen arguing with Raw GM Adam Pearce. Austin Theory walks up, and Waller slyly offers him his match to Theory. Pearce agrees but doesn't reveal the opponent. Waller calls it a surprise. Theory looks confused. Match 2, Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller versus Sheamus. Theory realizes too late that he's been set up to face the returning Sheamus. Sheamus dominates him really with strikes, multiple Irish curse backbreakers, applies a cloverleaf submission. Theory escapes the ropes and falls and rolls out. Sheamus hits a diving clothesline to the outside and celebrates with the crowd. Post-commercial action, Theory kicks Sheamus, but it only fires him up. Sheamus hits a tilt-a-whirl power slam and intercepts a rolling drop kick with a big knee near fall. Theory momentarily counters with a rolling blockbuster for 2. Sheamus cuts off Theory on the top rope and hits a super white noise. Crowd erupts with a "This is awesome" chant. And then in the finish, Theory argues with Waller on the apron. Sheamus hits a 14 beats on the Brodan instead of the usual 10. Yeah, it was funny how like it seemed like he wanted nothing to do with it. Like it looked like he legitimately fell away. Like, oh man, stop hitting me with this.
Yeah, he wasn't stoked on taking that move.
Yeah, glares at Waller, then hits him with a bro kick for the win. This was all right. A cool little match. Fucking Theory's, I guess, is a geek now, and he's just gonna be getting beat up here and there, but he'll still be on the show, and everybody here, it was a good match. And
I bet you he's missing Vince being there.
Yeah, 100%. He's never going to get that push again. But no, I didn't find this bad. The Theory sells pretty well. It really looked like he was getting his ass kicked in there, and he made Sheamus look like $1 million. So, if you're going in there trying to accomplish that, I think, job well done, right?
Yeah, Theory's a hell of a hand. I'm not crazy about his character, but I can't deny that his in-ring work is good.
Yeah, I'm just mainly talking about his selling, man. He did a fucking great job. He looked like he was getting his ass whipped in there. That's all.
Oh yeah, he made Sheamus look like he was beating the shit out of him.
Yeah,
Sheamus works pretty stiff though too.
Yeah, it's a good combination, I guess, because it looked legit. But we got the Intercontinental title news and backstage segments after that. It was a match announcement. Yeah, official. Dirty Dominic Mysterio will defend the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Penta at WWE Backlash in St. Louis. It's a huge opportunity for Penta after momentum building win over JD McDonough. That should be cool.
That's going to be a really good match.
Yeah. So they were in the clubhouse, which is, I wouldn't say kind of weird they call it a clubhouse because it's literally just like a room that they set up. I don't feel like a clubhouse is like a moving thing unless you got your clubhouse is like a shitty little camper or something.
It's in an RV.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But JD McDonough,
Vince, they should do that.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, that'd be badass. Actually, they should do that. But JD McDonough vents frustration over Chad Gable interfering in his match. AJ Styles interrupts, says it doesn't matter who wins at Backlash, that he's coming for the inner. And then he botched the word. Yeah, he got all messed up, kind of like me tonight. And Judgment Day mocks Styles, calling him an old man. Styles corrects himself and confidently says that he's coming for the Intercontinental Championship. I forget exactly what he said, but I was impressed by it. He fixed himself up real quick.
Oh yeah. He's a veteran.
Yeah, and then Mysterio says being champion's harder than he thought. He asks Finn Balor to handle Styles. Balor teases being the group's janitor, then smirks and agrees to take care of it. It's funny. He yelled. He's like, "What, you want me to clean up your mess?" But then after that, he completely switched gears. I was like, "Oh no problem. I was just kidding." Again, this was a good little segment. It's not bad. Dominic Mysterio is like a little fucking kid, but besides that, everybody here is pretty good. I mean, even Dom's great. Fucking, his delivery's weird. It's kind of childish. His soft voice, I guess. I don't know what his deal is, but it's just overall the way he presents himself is like of a fucking younger person than he actually is.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
But not much really to go on over there. Just a little segment. It was good. You want to talk about the one that we had next?
Yeah. So then we get another backstage segment. There's a lot of goings on behind the curtain on these shows.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
We get Chad Gable is upset about getting his nose bloodied by Penta when he was just doing the run-in during Penta's match a few minutes ago. And the New Day walk up referencing their WrestleMania win over the War Raiders and suggest title opportunities should be going to American Made instead. And Chad Gable kind of perked up about that. He likes to see his boys get some.
I want to hear more.
Yeah. He instantly perked up when they said that shit. It was
I like
funny.
What you're saying. Yeah, I want to hear more.
Yeah, big old grin on his face and everything. And then as they're having their little discussion, Becky Lynch blows right by him, and she's heading towards the ring. And now we're going to get a Becky Lynch segment. She comes out, and she's booed heavily. These people hate her, which is amazing because not that long ago, they were super cheering her, but obviously she's doing a good job presenting herself as a heel if she's getting booed out of the building. She claims that she's the victim and mocks the crowd for turning on her. She's shaking her hair around nonstop. One of the things that sticks out to me is when we were watching this with Brandon nonstop. Brandon's like, "Oh, I hate this chick. Her hair is just flying around everywhere the whole promo." And now I notice it more than I used to, but it doesn't bother me the way it bothers him. But she justifies attacking Bayley and calls her garbage and claims that she took the recycling out too, referring to Lyra. And Lynch says that Lyra's success, attitude, and even her fiance wouldn't exist without her influence. And then as she's going to continue on, of course, Lyra comes out and interrupts her. And they did the smart thing. Again, this week, she's out there in normal people clothes instead of running out in ring gear. And you're able to identify more with her as a person instead of a bird lady. And she comes out to a very strong reaction. The crowd is definitely warmed up to her, and it seems like she's getting more and more over each week. So that's good for her. She calls Lynch the queen of recycling for repeating the same act for years, that Lynch didn't help her rise, that she got better while Lynch was away. She noted that she has defended her titles more times than Lynch has appeared this year. And then she delivers a line of, "You shattered the glass ceiling, but left the broken glass for the rest of us." I don't know. That's kind of emo to me. But that was the thing nonetheless. So then the heated exchange escalates, and Lynch says others only flourished during her absence because they didn't have to compare to her, which is a perfect thing to use as a rebuttal, because obviously you're not there. They don't have to compete with you. It tells itself. Then Lynch starts to call herself the best of all time, citing that Sports Illustrated said that. And Valkyria lists Lynch's accolades. And then she reminds everybody that she is the first women's intercontinental champion.
Well, she just listed all Becky Lynch's first. She went like, "You were the first woman to main event WrestleMania,
yeah.
The first this, first that." And she was like, "You were the first intercontinental women's champ." Oh, wait, no, that was me.
Yeah. And then she tells her that she'll always be second place when she's around. And then they have a girl fight. And it's kind of... I mean, they did a pretty good job here, actually. I won't shit on it. They brawl in the ring a bit. Lynch swings first, but Valkyria hits her with a spin kick, which was a pretty nice kick. And then the officials kind of break them up, and they get separated a little bit, and Lynch starts yelling about disrespect, and Lyra storms back in and escapes a manhandle slam and hits the Nightwing. And the segment ends with Lyra standing tall, holding the title. A decent segment. I feel like that with her standing tall and holding the title, that usually when that kind of stuff happens, that means she might lose at the pay-per-view, because usually whoever gets the better of the physical exchange the show before the pay-per-view loses at the show. So we'll see there. What'd you think about all this?
No, it was really good. I liked it a lot. I'm not sure which episode it was, but it was me talking about these mid-card women's belts and how I like the idea a lot, because now you don't have these pointless feuds for nothing. Like, you have something for them to fight over, you know? And, like, generally, you know, there's been times where the mid-card titles were kind of up there with the world titles. You know, they were that prestigious because the person holding them. So it's pretty cool seeing Valkyria show her, you know, her personality a little bit. You know, I never really saw anything that she did in NXT if she was in there. I'm guessing she was. You know, I just only started watching her when I came back to watch WWE as of late, whatever the term is. But yeah, she wasn't talking for a while, and you know, she's talking now, and it's definitely not bad. Like, she's not the best in the world, and, you know, but it's for how I guess young she is, it's pretty impressive. And you know, you just can't compare her to the chicks over in AEW, and she seems like she's probably better than almost every single one of them. You know, obviously not Tony. Like, she's not Tony at all, but I'd say that, like, in the ring, she's better than almost every single one of them. And on the mic, she probably seems to be now too, right?
Yeah, she's really... I think she's been up a little over a year now on the main roster, and she's matured quite well into her role.
Yeah, like, I was really surprised, and this week she really stepped it up, and they wouldn't be doing this. Like, I'm pretty sure this is why they finally got Becky to come back, so they could feud over something with somebody that she likes to actually try to get her over and stuff, you know, to cool her program for her. And I don't know, it was good.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About all I have to say about that. It was good.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I'll walk us into the next match then, which
Okay.
I have on the TV right now too. We got Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky. This is, before we even get into this, pretty good match. Big fan of both of these women. They both work really well. But anyway, we get a little pre-match kind of information here. They tell us that Rhea Ripley is not present this week, that she's in Australia promoting Crown Jewel in Perth, and that this is a non-title match. I don't know why they needed to tell us that multiple times, but they did. And so we get the opening sequence, and there's some chain wrestling early on. Sky lands a shoulder tackle. Shoulder? I don't know why that was hard for me to say there.
I like the
Perez,
shoulder tackle. It's just not bad, but go ahead.
Shoulder. Perez slaps her in response, and then baits Sky outside and attacks her knee. This is a thing that Perez does a lot because she's a smaller wrestler, so she's almost always working somebody's leg. Io Sky is like maybe 2 inches taller than her, so but it still makes sense. And she hits a dragon screw over the ropes and hits her with a suicide dive. I'm a big fan of the dragon screw. I know Stephanie Vakir does one as well, but it's just it's always a move that I thought looked like it would hurt if somebody actually hit you with one.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Sky recovers and lands a suicide dive of her own before the break. And then they go to commercial, and I can't remember what the commercial was. It doesn't matter. We come back to some post-commercial action. Sky hits her with an arm drag off the top, which was pretty nice. I enjoyed that. And the crowd is losing their mind. Let's go, Io. She can do no wrong in the eyes of the people right now. She's one of the most over women in wrestling, period.
Well, she's really good in the ring. She might be the best in ring, like female, like on the planet right now. It's just AEW's or WWE style's a little tamer.
Yeah, and her English is getting better.
Yeah.
I know she's doing more and more English promos each week. So it's cool. She's trying.
Yeah.
So they get some back and forth strikes, and Sky hits her with a flapjack missile drop kick for 2, which is a pretty nice drop kick. I know that you say drop kick, but just the way that she does her drop kicks is nice. That's all. And Perez starts targeting her knee, and she blocks the bullet train attack that Sky was trying to hit her with. And Perez almost gets her with a roll up and a swinging back suplex, but Sky fights back. She hits her with a double arm backbreaker, but misses the over the moonsault, and Perez capitalizes with a head scissor DDT and a cartwheel knee drop. I really like these 2 moves that she does. You don't see a lot of head scissor DDTs, and I couldn't tell you the person that I've seen do a cartwheel knee drop besides her. I'm sure that other people have done it and it existed before her. I don't recall seeing it. And she gets a near fall there. So then the final sequence is them kind of rolling each other up back and forth, rapid pins, and Io Sky flips her over and holds her down for the 1, 2, 3. And Io Sky is your winner. And then after the match, Perez is kind of standing there, acting like she's showing some respect to Io, and she reaches out to shake her hand, and she's a little hesitant to shake Roxanne's hand because she's been a naughty girl these last few weeks. So, she's unsure, she's hesitant, but shakes her hand. It looks like everybody's having a good time. They're going to part as friends, maybe. They get a little head bow. Perez walks away. Boom. Julia attacks Io Sky from behind. Perez runs back into the ring and then she hits a smile, and boom, they start beating her up. Julia holds Sky up, and Perez kicks her in the face twice. The segment ends with Perez and Julia posing over the fallen champion. How'd you like all this?
It was good. Like a pretty good match. Nothing. Go back to the same shit I said earlier. Nothing egregious happened at all, but it's not even like that. It was a pretty good match, and Yeah, Io's really over. Seems like everything she does, the crowd eats up. It's funny because she doesn't even seem like she has to talk. She needs to go out there and just act like some cute little Asian chick, and that's probably enough. But yeah.
The pointing at herself thing is super over. You see all the people in the crowd doing it now.
Well, I mean, like you look at Asuka and it's like, she was over, but it's like I think she has better English than Io does, but it's like something about her didn't click the same way as Io does, because like she does the little cute Asian girl thing, which I guess is what people want to fucking see, instead of like the tough, crazy Asian chick that like speaks random gibberish and acts like she's nuts.
And nobody wants to deal with people that are crazy.
Yeah, maybe a couple people do, but overall it was really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here. It's cool that they got both those girls working with Io in the World Championship scene.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's who they're.
They don't have a match for Io for the pay-per-view yet. I assume probably be some kind of tag match with her and Rhea against these two.
Yeah.
We'll find out on SmackDown.
We'll jump into the next one. It was match 4 with Otis versus Rusev. Pretty cool.
Fucking Otis, man.
But this this was good stuff. It
actually was.
This furthered everything, and this was a good guy to do this to because he's like a sympathetic baby face. You can at least say he has really good facial expressions. And it's not like he's bad in the ring. He's just some fucking fat goof guy. It's not somebody that you'd ever get behind in like being a world championship material. But it's like that's not what you're looking at him as. I think he's like a good little goof guy. He's not bad. Anyways, Rusev comes out, and it's like funny. It's like they didn't know how to react to him. He didn't get much of a reaction at all when he came out. Like the people just sat there. And
it was like a hushed, like everyone's like, oh.
Well, I guess like maybe a lot of these people weren't watching WWE when he did his Rusev thing. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was like 2015 to like 2019 or something like that. So I mean, realistically, that was 5 years ago. There are people that maybe I've been watching since then that have never seen him.
Well, the end of his previous run with WWE was pretty bad, so maybe like if they did watch, that was what they were left with, right? But it was excuse me, it was some good stuff. It was intense stare down between both of them, a series of lockups and stalemates until Rusev lands knees in the corner, getting his offense in. Otis battles back with strikes and agility, dodges, and counters with a spinning back fist. Rusev gains control with the rolling wheel kick before the commercial, which was really good. He jumped like 6 feet in the fucking air, it looked like.
Yeah, it's insane how much air that dude got.
Yeah, like, and I'm sure he's like probably like 40 or like 41, so I don't know. He's getting up there, and he looks better than ever. In the shape he's in. I mean, his hair's getting a little bit older, or like gray, but I don't know. A lot of these guys are like reaching their primes in their 40s, which is what generally people have done before, but it's like I don't know.
We have better sports medicine now and nutrition and things of that nature for these guys to be able to stay healthy and in shape for a lot longer than
the guys when we were kids.
Yesteryear.
They were in shape and they were super muscular, but they weren't as toned and cut as these guys are today. Like these guys today are fucking sculpted and shit,
Right. The nutrition and the exercise science is all there now.
We went to commercial after that, and Rusev dominated when we came back ringside until Otis did a belly-to-belly suplex over the commentary table. Otis, which is
nice.
Yeah, it was. It was good. It looked really nice. But Otis sent Rusev into the steps and knocks over the Prime Hydration Station, which I don't know. That kind of ruined my night at that point. Like it was all downhill for me after that. I'm really into the Prime, and it's fucking kind of upsetting that they keep knocking all that over. But
I had to make sure to include that in the notes just for you.
Yeah, I was devastated. But I went outside and was fucking cussing and throwing stuff away or around, and it wasn't good. But both men injured their hands on the ring post in sequence. Otis re-enters with momentum, did a corner avalanche on him, which that looks good. Like he all his stuff looks legit,
Yeah.
Rusev shut it down with the thrust kick and locked in the accolade. He got him. He didn't tap, did he? Did he pass out?
I can't recall. I think
he
it was
passed out.
I think he was like a referee stoppage, and then he was like he didn't
Yeah.
relinquish. Well, yeah, it's there.
Well, remember
yeah,
he put
didn't
it in, he
relinquish
put
the
it in
hold.
him twice. But
Yeah.
Tozawa gets in Rusev's face and rips his shirt off. Rusev backs off. I liked how he did it because like it looked like he wanted nothing to do with them, and he was like he walked away, and then like once they were distracted and checked on Otis, he came back in and just hit him with the power bomb, and he picked him up like he was nothing. Like I know.
Oh yeah, when he yoinked that guy up like how you pick up a child.
Yeah, like he just picked him up and it was just nothing to him. Just boom. I mean, I know he probably only weighs about like 130 pounds, but man, like it was literally like a sack of potatoes. But Otis, he sends Otis into the ring post twice, and like he was hitting that ring post, man. Like you could hear it. Like it was some of the better somebody being thrown into the ring post that I've seen in a while. A lot of the times people, it's like they're afraid to take it, but that isn't what happened here. He applied a second accolade on him, and the WWE officials came in with Adam Pearce, and they all fucking tried to rip him off, and eventually he let go. I don't think they ripped him off. He let go.
Yeah.
Let me get a drink of water here. Or actually, no, wait a second. But yeah, this was a good shit. Like it accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and everything was good while it happened. And Otis can really sell, and Rusev's like, you can buy him as being this nuts fucking guy, and just overall fucking thumbs up for me there.
Yeah, I was cautiously optimistic about how they were going to handle him, and then after seeing what they've done with him this week, if this is how they intend on using him, then they'll be using him right. Obviously, he won't be able to just go in there and do that to some of the main event guys, but at some point, he'll probably get like a world title run or something to that effect.
Absolutely,
I would think.
Yeah,
and then we get a real fun segment. I know both of us were looking forward to this one.
it wasn't bad though.
Yeah, it exceeded expectations. So next we get the Gunther and Pat McAfee face to face, and Adam Pearce is still out there from having come out previously to admonish Rusev for his poor behavior, and he invites Pat McAfee to come into the ring, and Pat McAfee comes into the ring. And I noticed he wiped his shoes off before he got in the ring. You know, that's nice. And then Pearce introduces Pat's backlash opponent, the ring general Gunther. And Pearce demands that they both keep the meeting professional after their recent altercation. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say.
It's okay.
It was like words didn't want to come out of my mouth there.
Yeah,
Gunther speaks first. And Gunther promises not to spoil his own match, unlike McAfee. McAfee, I don't know why I'm calling him McAfee. He's not the internet guy.
You don't know that.
He might be. He's a professional. And he gets interrupted by the crowd chanting, "You tapped out," which he did. Gunther brushes it off and says that he'll address that later. McAfee responds with a fiery promo. He actually did pretty well here. He defends Michael Cole, calling him the GOAT. I don't know why I said GOAT there. I told you I can't fucking talk today.
Michael
gets
Cole
a Michael Cole. Yeah, he gets a Michael Cole chant going, and says that Gunther attacked a 60-year-old man just for having an opinion. Shouts out Omaha, connecting its hard-working legacy to his own journey. Says that he and Gunther once shared the same dream to become wrestling legends, but Gunther got jaded. 20 years, champion 80% of the time, now it's just a job to him. McAfee says Gunther is complacent and soft. This version of Gunther isn't Walter anymore. For those that may not know, Walter is what his character used to be named when he was a killer in NXT and when they first brought him up to the main roster. And then, for whatever reason, Vince decided he didn't like the Walter name anymore, and he switched him to Gunther. And anyway, Gunther, he warns Gunther that he's underestimating him, just like Sami Zayn and Jey Uso did. And McAfee promises to represent the Dreamers on Saturday. Gunther fires back at him and coldly asks McAfee if he enjoyed his daughter's birthday last week. Says Backlash is a special day for him. It's his first match back since WrestleMania. He promises that he's going to be more focused and ruthless than ever. He vows to maul McAfee and drive his head into the mat and choke him out until he drops like a wet towel. And I think that line went over like a wet fart in the arena. Everybody kind of, I don't know, that's not that great of a shit talking, if we're being honest here. But then he finishes with, only the grace of God will lift your arms off my throat. And Gunther shoves McAfee and exits the ring, and the segment ends with high tension. This was much better than either of us expected, I think. What did you think about all this, TJ?
I liked it. I hope that it said only the grace of God will lift my arms off of your throat, not the other way around. But
Yeah.
Gunther shoved McAfee and exited the ring, and then ended with the high tension or whatever. After that, I don't know why I read that like you did, but it was good. Like I liked it. I was surprised. I'm not really looking forward to this match. I don't know how they're going to put it in a way that's going to be something that I'm going to want to see, but
well, I mean, like, if you have McAfee win, great. You just had the announcer beat your dominant heel champion that's lost like 4 matches the entire time he's been at the company, and that doesn't really do anything for Gunther, and it doesn't really do anything for McAfee either, I don't think.
Maybe somebody's going to fuck him over.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But who, dude?
I don't know. Maybe Hulk Hogan will come back. I think that'd be what I want to see.
Give stinky Pat McAfee, brother.
Yeah, give them a something that give the fans what they want to see. They don't know what they want to see, but they're gonna know that they're gonna want to see the Hulkster come out and be the world champion after tonight. But
oh wow, they should have had McAfee be the third man in their little video that they were
yeah,
rolling out there.
Fuck that. We got the main event after that with Jey Uso and Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, more good stuff. This is great.
Yeah.
It's funny because people really don't like the whole kicking out of the finisher stuff that happens in fucking all these matches these days. But I don't know. This was good shit, man. It was a great match. Everybody involved.
This was one of those times that and we said this last night when we watched it, was the false finishes made sense and they were good. There was a point where for both of us that you actually didn't know when the match was going to be over. And that's one of the cool things about being on Netflix, is they can go over or under whatever their usual time is, and you're never going to know. But I mean, we got psyched out so many times, legitimately, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
but anyway, back to what you were saying.
Well, backstage, World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso walks in with focus, burn it down, or he's walking around. There's the little thing where it shows him, I guess, in the locker room,
walking through the hallway on the way out to the match,
and then burn it down. Seth Rollins enters with Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker, title on the line in tonight's main event. The match with Seth freaking Rollins with Breaker and Heyman ringside versus main event Jey Uso out there by himself. The opening sequence saw chain wrestling to start. Rollins plays mind games and taunts Uso. Uso drops Rollins with his stiff right hand, leading to shoving and a striking exchange. Multiple counters, super kick, pedigree, and a stomp, all avoided early. Rollins retreats to regroup with Heyman and Breaker. Momentum swings. Rollins gains control with aggressive counter offense. Uso fires back with an enziguri and a suicide dive, sending Rollins over to the commentary table. We went to commercial, came back. Rollins keeps the pressure, but Uso answers with a Samoan drop and running hip attack. Rollins tries a springboard knee. Super kick midair by Uso. Near fall. His super kick stinks. It's like a check mark.
Yeah,
it's not straight.
It's not great. Yeah.
But at least it connects, I guess. But Rollins hits a buckle bomb, goes for a frog splash. Uso dodges. Rollins counters with a spear with a pedigree. That was nice. He jumped in.
That was a super good spot.
Yeah, he jumped in to go for that spear, and then he caught him with the pedigree. And then I hope that mat's not too bad on your face, because you get rug burn. landing on your face. But that was nice, and he kicked out of it. I thought that was it, maybe right there. Uso locks in a sleeper hold, then hits a spear for a huge 2 count. Uso goes to the top. Rollins pulls the referee as a distraction. Breaker interferes, grabs Uso's leg. Uso kicks him away. Rollins hits a super kick, Falcon Arrow, stomp. Uso kicks out again. Loud yeet, and this is awesome chants throughout. Sami Zayn's music hits. He gets a huge pop. Distracts Breaker. Zayn attacks from the crowd. Throws Breaker into the ring post. Uso hits a super kick, spear. Uso splash. Rollins kicks out again. Breakers recovers and spears Zayn at ringside. It was kind of one of the weaker spears that I've seen him do in a little while.
He took care of him there. He wasn't trying to kill him like he does to a lot of these guys.
Yeah, Heyman distracts the referee as Breaker spears Uso, missed by camera but shown in replay. Rollins hits a second stomp. Then CM Punk's music hits. Punk throws a chair into Breaker's face, storms the ring and beats Rollins with the chair. Fends off Breaker with chair shots. Punk stands tall in the ring with Uso and Zayn, and it was a no contest. It was weird they didn't ring the bell or do an announcement, though. The announcer just said that he cost Rollins the match. Kind of strange, you know.
It was it was a very, very attitude era ending.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. They should have announced it, like 100%.
Yeah, they should have at least rang the bell. But man, what an ending! All the false finishes, the actual ending itself.
And one thing though,
perfect use of run-ins.
Real quick too is like, I don't know if you saw, right, where Logan Paul like punched Jey Uso after the cameras went off from the crowd.
Yeah.
So there was that too. So, you know, they're furthering that as well, and they did that, you know, that's trying to heat their social media up. So, you know, they're hitting this shit from fucking all angles, man. Like, you know, they know what's going on, but sorry to cut you off there, but yeah, this was fucking great, man. I was hyped. This is one of the best TV episodes of wrestling I've seen in a really long time, and this is one of the best main events on a TV wrestling show that I've seen, and I don't know, I couldn't tell you how long. It was fucking really good, and Seth Rollins is knocking it out of the fucking park, and you know, Sami Zayn's the best guy in his role in the company, and Braun Breaker, it's fucking awesome. Anything with Paul Heyman's good. Punk's the man. Jey Uso's doing his thing. Like, the future is bright on Monday for Raw if they keep this kind of shit going on, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Should be nice.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to match this every week. I mean, this is like you don't get a lot of episodes that are this high a quality all year. I mean, you get good episodes, but I mean, this was actually a great episode. I'll use the term great.
Maybe they'll surprise us, man.
Even if we were given some of the matches like B's and B plus, like obviously the main event was an A easily, but the show overall easy A, easy.
Yeah, focus.
Maybe even A plus.
No lack of direction. Everything accomplished what it meant to. It was all simple. You're not questioning like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? And if they did a good job at hiding it, and good shit. And I'm looking forward to next Monday, and hopefully they could even squeeze out something remotely close to this on Fridays, and that would be a great show. But SmackDown's been a little bit disappointing lately, and I'm hoping they can switch that up, and maybe when Cody eventually comes back, that will happen. But I'm not sure when.
I think we have 4 more SmackDowns until they go back to the 2-hour version of SmackDown, and I think it will get better.
Yeah,
hopefully, because the 3-hour one has been a slog and has been hard to watch, and I don't know about you, but I've kind of had to force myself to get through it just so that we can do this.
There's, you know, I'm busting my ass at work.
Oh yeah,
you know, I do roofing and shit, and you know, there's days where the sun just drains me, man, and I come home and I'll pass out watching wrestling. You know, if it sucks, I can't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep with Dynamite on.
It's got to keep you engaged.
My wife will sit there, and I'm sure she just looks over and just like, there he is. But I mean, if this shit's boring, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, fall asleep early. That's what.
But fucking great episode of Raw. It was good shit, and I really enjoyed it.
Yep, more of that, please. And moving on from that, since we are doing these shorter kind of episodes that come out after other stuff happens, we got an extra segment for you guys today. Special Today in History. This is something that we kind of did early on and then moved away from because there was just so much wrestling to go on about with it being WrestleMania season and everything, and then it just went to the wayside, but it's back. I don't know if it's by popular demand or not. I don't know how much demand there is or isn't, but we'll say that the fans were asking for it just to make it sound better. And we got a big one today. Today's date is May 6th, 2025. And on this day in history, May 6th, 2002, WWF becomes WWE. This was a big fucking deal. It had been WWF for people's entire lives at that point. Yeah, I was 18. How old were you, TJ?
22. I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
I think 12.
Something like that. So yeah, we were pretty young men still, figuring out our way about the world, and it was a change. And the reason for the change was that they lost the legal battle in the United Kingdom against the World Wildlife Fund, who also used the WWF initials. And the court found that the wrestling company had violated a prior agreement regarding the use of the WWF initials, especially online and internationally. Fuck the World Wildlife Fund, first of all. We could still have the World Wrestling Federation in 2020. I'm sure they do great work. I shouldn't say fuck them, but they should have changed their name. Fuck you, World Wildlife Fund. It is what it is. And so when they did the branding rollout, they officially unveiled everything May 7th, 2002, and they just took the scratch WWF logo at the time and cut the two F letters off, and they went with this whole "Get the F Out" promotion, which was pretty funny. Obviously, everybody gets the double entendre there, and the legacy of this happening was the name change signaled a major turning point in wrestling history. It was not the actual end of the Attitude Era, but pretty much we were getting close, and this was ushering in the Ruthless Aggression Era, and that it would be the logo that you would see until the modern WWE logo that we have now. And despite backlash from fans at the time, the WWE would go on to become one of the most recognizable brands in sports entertainment. And I would say beyond that, and in the world in general, I mean, WWE is a huge international brand at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Growing up, my cousin, that this is when I was still in South Carolina before I moved to Maryland when I was younger, and my cousin Carrie, she had a little Panda sticker in her room, and it had WWF on it. And I remember asking her, because she watched wrestling too. And I was like, what's up with the Panda and wrestling? She was like, no, that's the World Wildlife Federation. And I thought that, or whatever the fuck it is. And I was like, oh, that's funny.
Fund.
Yeah, fund. Yeah, that's it. And she, told me about it. And I just thought it was kind of strange because it's like, oh, you think somebody would sue somebody there. And eventually, I guess it did happen, and it's kind of weird that they couldn't have buy their way out of that. It seemed like they wouldn't have had a big problem, moving their stuff to a different name.
I think they had just gone public not too long before that, so I don't know how much capital. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he was just ready because, Vince wanted to push wrestling to be more entertainment focused anyway. It was probably just a no-brainer for him at that point. He's just like, well, I'm not going to spend any money. Fuck it. We'll just change it to this.
I guess. It seems weird that Vince doesn't back down from anything. You figure he would want to keep his name. That's the WWF was it was WWF. WWF was Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Wasn't it something more like the WWWF at one point? It's pretty ridiculous.
I'm not sure.
So the F was always a part of the name, but pretty big deal. And I wasn't watching as much at the time. I was watching, but it wasn't every week. I think the last image you had on WWF television before it switched was Hulk Hogan winning the undisputed title out of that or holding it up. Pretty wild shit when you really think about it. But it's maybe it benefited them, maybe it didn't. I'm not sure, but it definitely happened, and it's a pretty big deal because it's their name now, and it is what it is, and it definitely didn't hurt them because look at them. They're still here today doing their thing, making more money than ever.
We actually got a better one than that. Hogan was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion. But the final image on World Wrestling Federation television before its name change was Trish Stratus celebrating her win after a match on Sunday Night Heat on May 5th, 2002.
Oh, okay.
So let's go Trish. Fucking everybody loves Trish. Everybody hates Hogan. So,
yeah,
good.
Kind of the opposite there.
Right? They could make a show of that. You know how there was Hogan's Knows Best?
Yeah.
It could be like a combination of
Hogan.
that, and everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates Hogan.
I'm sure it'd do really good for him. Linda could
And then
hate on him, and so could his kid. Or kids. Yeah, they're still... Nick didn't pass away. It was the other guy.
He's going to wrestle Benjamin Shelton, like he keeps saying.
Yeah. What a fucking guy. But we don't got to keep talking about Hogan for now. So that's really all we got for today, right? Or
for the next segment, we're going to talk about how much we hate Hulk Hogan on. But yeah, that's going to be it for us for this episode. Tune in Thursday. We'll have the new episode out for Dynamite. We're going to try to get these out in a timely fashion each week. Hopefully we're able to stick to that schedule. TJ and I work 40 to 50-hour weeks in addition to this. So, if we are a day late on something, don't kill us. We'll get there.
Yeah,
but anyway,
little passion thing we're doing, we're really into wrestling and we talk about it all the time, and it's something we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're deciding to do it. So, we just kind of have our job and jump on this, and it's been fun. It doesn't feel like work. So that's at least a good thing about it.
This is like a escape from work.
Yeah. No,
but anyhow,
really nice.
Don't forget to check us out on all of our socials. Once again, it's at OverMark ENT on all of your social media du jour. Thanks for listening, Overmaniacs. We'll see you guys next time, sooner than later. Everybody have a good day.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for checking us out.